Good morning, class. Uh, Now, our next topic is multiple inheritance. So, in continuation with the previous lecture, we have seen the single level inheritance and its program also. Now, we will just see the syntax of how the multiple inheritance is implemented in the programming language. So, in multiple inheritance, we have got multiple parents through which a child class inherits the properties. Like you can see here in the slide, we have got class A, class B and class C as parent classes, and class D is the child class which is inheriting the properties of all these three classes. Now, next let us see the syntax of this multiple inheritance. So we have got three parent class A, class B and class C are defined like the normal classes. So bracket open, in the last bracket close, ended with the followed by the semicolon, and all the three classes will be mentioned like this in the programming. Now class D is inheriting the properties of class A, B and C. So we have to write the syntax like this: class D colon, and then write all the classes which are to be inherited in this class. So we are inheriting three classes A, B and C. So first of all mention the access specifier, that is public, then space, then class A, then public, comma, public space class B, comma, public space class C. So I am inheriting all the parent classes in a public mode. You can say like publicly inherited. We are doing the publical inheritance of the classes in the class D. Then next we have written certain function inside the public section, and since we have inherited the class A, B and C publicly, so all the members of class A, B and C which were present in the public section of the parent classes will come into the public section of the derived class. It means, suppose I have got in class A, I have got one variable in private section, then one variable in protected section, and one function in public section. Again I will repeat, in class A, suppose I have got one variable in private section, one variable in protected section, and one function in public section. And same is the case with class B and C also. Now, when we do the public inheritance in class D, then no members which are private in class A, B and C will be inherited. It means that one variable of class A which is private, one variable of class B which is private, and one variable of class C which is private will not be inherited. Private members are never inherited, no matter in which kind of access specifier you are using. Either you are inheriting publicly or privately or protectedly, doesn't matter. In the parent, if the member is private, then it will not be inherited in any cases. Right. Now, when we are inheriting publicly, then whatever members are present in the protected section of the parent class, that is class A has got one variable in protected, class B has got one variable in protected, and class C also have one variable in the protected. So all these members, all these variables which are in protected section of the parent class will be inherited in the protected section of the derived class. And I have also mentioned that there is one function in class A which is public, which is mentioned in public section. Same is the case with B and C also. So it means the three functions of class A, B and C which were defined in the public section of these classes respectively, these will be inherited in the public section of the derived class. It means now we can form the rule that whenever you do the public inheritance of the parent classes, then in the parent class, whatever is mentioned in the private section will not be inherited. Whatever is mentioned in the protected section will be inherited in the protected section of the derived class. Whatever is mentioned in the public section of the parent class will be inherited in the public section of the derived class. It means I can say like that in public inheritance, no change in the sections of the parent class, except private members are not accessed. That's it. It means in the parent class, if I have got protected section, then it will come into the protected section of the derived class. If it is in the public section of the parent class, then it will come into the public section of the derived class on inheritance. And private members of the parent classes will not be inherited at all. So this is the scenario now. Now, let us look at the main. So we will just define one object of class D, that is a derived class, and then we can call the function whatever functions have been accessed or whatever functions have been inherited in the public section of class D can be accessed in the main function using the object name and dot operator. So as I have already mentioned that class A, class B and class C are having one functions in their public section, so they all will be inherited in the public section of class D. Therefore, with the help of obj1, which is a derived object of the object of derived class D, can access all these four functions. One is of class D, one is of class C, one is of class B, and one is of class A. It is like that. Next, come to the multi-level inheritance. In multi-level inheritance, we have got more than one parent being inherited in the child. So class A is the base class which is inherited in class B. So B is the derived class of class A. Now class C is inheriting class B. It means the properties of A which have already been inherited in B, now both the properties of A and B will be inherited in class C also. So let us take the example of multi-level inheritance. Programmatically, I have mentioned class A, which is the parent class. Now class B is inheriting A, so I will write class B colon public A. Then class C is inheriting class B, so we will write class C colon public B. This is a multi-level inheritance. After that, we will simply define the object of type of class C, which is the derived class, and then we can access all the functions which are inherited by A and B in the public section of class C. It simply means that in the main we can access only those functions and variables which are present in the public section of class C using the object of class C. Now, hybrid inheritance, let us first look hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance is like the hierarchy. If we take an example of a college, so in any engineering college, the topmost person will be the director. Then after that comes the HODs, after that comes the faculty members, after that comes the lab staffs, etc. So what we can look, if we look this scenario, so it is a kind of hierarchy. At the top level we have got only one person, and then as we are going downwards the number of persons are spreading. So it means the root has got only one node. If I now talk in terms of programming language or OOPS concept, then it means the top, this is a kind of tree. So in the hierarchical inheritance, the class A, which is the root, will be only one, that is one node will be there, and then as we go downwards it will be further bifurcated. So this is an example of hierarchical inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is consisting of all the previous four types of inheritance, that is single level, multi-level, multiple and hierarchical. So if we see this example, so if I consider only class A and class B, then it is an example of single level inheritance. If I consider class A, class B and class D, then it is an example of multi-level inheritance. If I consider class B, C and D, then it is an example of multiple inheritance. And if I consider class A, class B and class C, then it is a hierarchical inheritance. So you can see in the hybrid inheritance, we have got the mix of all the previous types of inheritance. Now let us look at the table, what I was talking about a little bit earlier. So if I am inheriting publicly, then you can see here that the public members of the base class are inherited in the public section of the derived class. The protected members are derived in the protected section of the derived class, and private members are not accessible or hidden. If I inherit using the protected, then all the members will become the protected members of the derived class. That is, the public and protected members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. Private members are not inheritable. Again, if I inherit privately, then all the public and protected members will become the private members of the derived class, and private members are not accessible. So, in a nutshell, if we say if I am inheriting publicly, then no change. That is, public members of the base class will become public members of the derived class. Protected members of the base class will become protected members of the derived class, and private members of the base class will not be inherited. If I am inheriting privately, then all the members of base class, yani protected members and public members, will become the private members of the derived class. Private members of the base class will not be inherited. If I am inheriting protectedly, then all the members of the base class, namely protected and public, will become protected members of the derived class, and private members of the base class will not be inherited. Thank you.